After Denmark's defeat in World War II, Schleswig War in 1864, John Een and his younger brother Peter, they are leaving their war-torn homeland, and they set off across the Atlantic to America, hoping to start over. For many years, they have been working hard to build a new life abroad into an unfamiliar and harsh land. All these years, he misses his wife Marie and their little one, his son Kristian, who remained in Denmark. The long separation from his family left him feeling a deep emptiness in the heart. It's 1871 year. John and Peter are standing on railway station somewhere on at the edge of the American frontier, waiting train arrival. Finally, it arrives at the moment of reunion. John sees how Marie and Kristian get off the train, beaming with joy. Little Kristian rushes towards my father. There's a feeling of deep love and care. John is with proudly introduces them to Peter, and they go home together. Peter he says he needs to sort out he has things to do in the city, and he will join them later. Hello, ma'am. My wife doesn't speak English, but he'll learn. The idyll is interrupted by an unexpected event. Passengers from the adjacent compartment are being asked to leave, and instead, two strong men enter and dangerous-looking men. One of them is Paul Delaru, Henry Delaru's brother, sadly a notorious gang leader. Paul he got out of prison, and his intentions are clearly hostile. From this moment on, everything is going well, out of control. That evening, while Paul and his partner gets drunk, John tells Kristian about the local animals and discusses the upcoming hunt with him. But peace doesn't last long. Paul suddenly he turns to Marie and offers her to drink. But she refuses, thereby creating awkwardness in the company. Since Marie doesn't speak English, John quietly he advises her to accept the treat, politeness in Danish. Hoping to avoid conflict, she does just that. And you're not very talkative, are you? My princess doesn't speak at all. They must be tired of her yelling while they cut her parents. What's her name? My wife's name is Marie. Paul starts flirting with Marie, and John he feels like he's boiling inside, anxiety. Paul reaches for her dress, trying to touch her. He suddenly is asking to stop. Paul's partner pulls out a gun and points it at Jonah, so that shut him up. Oh, what now? Come here. You're not going to do anything. Don't move. Be quiet. Trying to protect his family, John whispers to Maria, Data, so she bit Polo on the ear, and she fulfills his request, and in the commotion John wrestles the weapon away from the second bandit. Now, with a gun in his hand, he's trying to take control of the situation. He's shouting his sons so he could pick up a second weapon, but he's taking advantage of the confusion, grabbing Cantona and puts a knife to his throat. He orders John to get out of the stagecoach, threatening to kill the entire family. John is trying to say something to Maria, but he's thrown out outside. After a while, John finds Kristian's lifeless body on the side of the roads. Her eyes fill with tears. She falls to her knees, embracing her son. Then Hess slowly lifts the boy's body and he's walking away. Nearby, he notices a stopped stagecoach. Caution after laying down Kristian's body, John approaches the dead coachman and takes his gun. Remembering his soldiering skills, Hess shoots into the air, scaring the horses, and then he aims at the bandits. He quickly kills one of them and lunges in pursuit of the sex trying to hide. Paul begs for mercy, claiming that I didn't touch anyone. Wait, alive. Stop, I'm not touching the boy. The next morning, Mr. P arrives. He noticed strange horses and decided to check what's happening. He finds Yona crying over the bodies of Marie and Kristona. Peter is trying to comfort his brother, and he tells him he didn't know these people. The brothers are hugging, weeping at loss. And now all they have left, they are each other's. Then the Seany eyes moved to the dusty town of Wild West. He drives into it like he owns the place to a group of armed horsemen. The Iris, led by Henry Delero, a ruthless former Union Army colonel, famous for his cruelty companies against Native Americans. He dismounts his horse and heads towards the mayor, Nate Unkeen, who also serves as Thea priest and undertaker in the town. Deli is clearly angry. He demands an explanation regarding the two dead people found nearby. The mayor, visibly nervous, he assures that no one in the city is used to this involved, but neither he nor the others, yet they don't suspect. One of the victims is a brother, Delero, Paul. Make sure that by the princess's arrival he wasn't reeking of booze. Take it away. You caught the killer. Finally, Delero spoke. He's giving the citizens have until noon to find the killer. Otherwise, he will kill two innocent people for the edification of the inhabitants. Quoting the Bible, Hepramizes revenge. So that nothing is left out, he states. If the mayor himself doesn't he'll choose victims. He won't kill just two, but four. Soon, Mrs. will become victims. Borowski, the elderly gun shop owner, benches, and a legless man. I'm ready, Father. The city will be eternally grateful to you. I won't be able to live without you, Grandma. You can, my boy. Delero without oscillations shoot into disabled person. While Wojcik, Mrs. Borowski, is weeping beside her. She is brave. He says a prayer for the damned soul. Delero, but he kills her without a shadow of regrets. Unsatisfied, he executes and a third innocent person right in the eyes of his own wife, without showing not a shred of remorse. Sheriff Malik urges city residents not to interfere and stay calm. Everyone feels themselves powerless against Delero, who demands even more money for protection and collects taxes. Since the killer is nearby, you need better protection. TO pays so much .60 by the end of each month. Did we agree? Yes. Yes. Later, at his funeral, his widowed Madeline's daughter-in-law, a mute woman, is standing by graves in silence. Delero says to her cold and empty words of comfort. At the same time, John and Peter are burying Mary. Kristen, overwhelmed with grief and a growing desire to be together. Brothers, they decide to leave and head west. Thanks to their outstanding shooting, they quickly attract attention. Some residents are starting to suspect that they could have been involved in Paul's death. When they reach Blackrick, someone he reports them to the sheriff. Hello. And where is your grandma? Dar shot him. We need people like you right now. Toto, confront the killer. Don't go into battle if you're not sure of victory. Meanwhile, John is trying to sell the mayor's plot. He only offers half the amount that John paid when purchased, citing Delero's new taxes and the general danger. That's when you realizes that the murdered person weighs it's Henry's brother. Well, he doesn't have choice, and he agrees to reduce the price. Keen advises hiding the money in safety boots. There are many hunters for other people's money. Well, around the same time, Delero and Madeline, she is also called Princess. She is dating by representatives of the Standard Company Atlantic Oil. They hand Delero a pact, money, and warn him against excess violence. They report that the government cut off Black Creek from external assistance, and Sheriff Malik is now acting alone. Companies Golto buy up all the rich land in the surrounding area with oil, and they want Delarhe's seized land by force. Shortly after, they are arresting Peter too. But before he's fighting back with this. Later, Sheriff Malik Yona calls him for a serious talk. Let Peter go. Malik, he broke Mito the assistant. I'm sorry for your loss. John, I won't be the last person Delaro kills here, but your death will buy us time. The sheriff is trying to convince John to surrender, saying, what his death might gain for the city a little time until the government won't send help. Here you go, A.T. Dawn the next day. He hands over Jan the Delara gang. Before taking away the prisoner, Delara forcefully hits Jan on Theto a person, as if the humiliation weighs it's not enough. Delara's plan is simple and he is cruel. Leave John tied up without food and water, so he would slowly die under unbearable heat. The day drags on agonizingly long. The sun is burning my skin, and above vultures were already circling overhead. And when it seemed things couldn't get worse, maybe Mayor Kane is showing up. Everything looks as if he came to help, but instead, he's sneaking around the hyena, along with them, the hidden money. Then, with a sneer and a strange with familiarity, he addresses Delaruby name, revealing their union. Dark during his time in prison, Sheriff Malik was in churches, while Peter was preparing to escape. And unlike his brother, Peter was smarter. He carefully provoking the sheriff's deputy, using harsh words to provoke that anger. I really gave you a beating. I hope there's a woman, and who needs you with whose gun is that? And now for your appearance, they will charge more for this type. Shut up. You used to just cry like a sick person, saying, and now he looks sick too. Waiting for the right moment, Peter he knocks out the guard and escapes. Dark over time, it becomes clear that Delaro she's not grieving for her brother at all. On the contrary, he began to treat Paul's widow, Madeline, Asto their property. He force drags her into bed, without paying attention to the bruises on her face and the horror in their eyes. Her silence and the beatings speak volumes, louder than any words. This isn't love. Delarue promises her the future of a new Queen Orleans, but she clearly doesn't want that future. And at night, the city is hit by rainstorm. John is still tied to the post, soaked, weakened, but finally help. During their escape, John and Peter run into each other, with two other thugs, and Peter instantly it's killing them. However, their escape did not, it went unnoticed. Weakened by heat and exhaustion, John can't stay in the saddle and falls off the horse. Stop, stop. Without hesitation, Peter grabs him by the big one with a boulder, saying I'll chase it anyway, no one will stop. By showing courage, he used himself as bait to distract the pursuers from my brother. John wakes up the next morning, dehydrated and exhausted. He's getting there, Tio the puddle, and drinks the dirty water greedily. But relief turns to horror when he sees one of Delaire's men, dragging a lifeless body behind the horse Peter. Meanwhile, at the Delaire base, the safe, it turns out it's empty, and Madeline is gone. She took the money for the oil and ran away to the railway station. Standing by the train with a heavy bag of cash, he looks back, hoping to leave everything behind. It's coming. What's happening? Delara hits her in the face with all his might, but she didn't stay silent. She spits with bloodied lips right in his face. Delaru is about to kill her on place, but his right-hand man offers to spare. Maybe it will still be useful. To whom luckily Madeline, she got a small delay. Meanwhile, John wanders the scorched earth near Black Rock until he runs into an Armada woman, Mrs. Whistler, the stir-in-the landowner. She makes a few warning shots when he approaches her well. Exhausted and yawn, dying of thirst, ignores shots and keeps walking. But in the well there's no water, only thick black oil. Only after getting to know John does Mrs. Whistler let her guard down weapon and invites him into the house. John is drinking, and gets full. The woman shared that Estolero left his mark on her family as well. He killed her husband. That same evening, John heads home, the mayor of Keene with a gun in his hand. He forces the trembling mayor to return it boots and stolen money. After the interrogation, he finds out that the mayor is also Mrs. Whistle bought the land. John starts pressuring the mayor, but Keene lied him. Then John orders him to lie down in an open coffin, scaring him to death consciousness. Did you call him Henry? I'm a mortician after all. Get in? No. That's it. I'm a businessman. Oh my God. You're not even human. Eventually, Keene admits that handed over the land documents to Delero so Thato help him capture the city. After that, John is going to Mrs. Whistler, which is now run by her grandson Wojciech. There he gathers the necessary supplies, ammunition, and flammable materials liquids. He's asking Wojciech to report Sheriff Malik about the corruption conspiracy Delero and Keene. It's all about oil. This land will soon Beto cost 000. Then I'm with you. It's not enough yet be why the way I practiced. Not bad that I'm shooting. The next morning, John moves on to actions. He puts Mayor Keene's body in a coffin as bait. Delero, having opened the lid, becomes confused and orders the coffin to be burned. At the same time, Wojciech is building a fire to attract attention. Then, from cover, he begins to shoot, showing courage. Wojciech climbs onto the roof with fuel canisters, but the creaking the boards attract the bandits' attention below. He gets up and finds her tied up, Madeline. Wojciech shoots him, but the bandit shoots himself in response, Wojciech killing him. When the killer he smugly lights a cigarette, he notices that the floor was soaked in fuel. Hearing the noise, John rushes to the spot fire. He sees the bandit dragging Madeline is gone. John shoots accurately and it hits him in the leg. That one is falling on the ground, but taking a step forward, John admits a mistake I shouldn't have made. He forgot about Delero himself. The leader of the gangs shoot at John, knocking him off legs. Standing over him, Delero mockingly, he says John turned out to be much more resilient than he thought. But before he manages to finish him off, and then appears Madeline. You're nothing to me. After the shots, John and Madeline had weapons at each other. A few seconds they stand still, completely tension, and then they lower their weapons. They both lost too much, and now they are dividing one enemy. At that moment, Sheriff Malik arrives with backup.